Despite what you see on TikTok or Red Note, China isn't that nice of a place to live. Welcome to China Uncensored, I'm Chris Chappell. Before we start the episode, remember, we're now in Phase 2 of Operation Honeypot. Don't know what that means? I'll link the episode below. And watch until the end for an Operation Honeypot update. So imagine you're walking through a tunnel and on the other end is your dream home, a beautiful 2-story house located in the middle of a freeway. Yes, this is real. The owner didn't want to sell his house to developers, so they literally built the road around it. You'd think they could have at least put ramps on the road so cars would safely fly over it. The owner says he now regrets not selling it, though apparently it does draw tourists. So this wasn't as much of an abuse of power by local authorities in cahoots with corrupt property developers as it was an opportunity for an enterprising entrepreneur. This is what's called a nail house. And yes, it happens so frequently, there's a name for it. It's called that because the houses stick up like an old rusty nail in an otherwise urban landscape because the owner refused to make way for development, perhaps being tough and stubborn as an old nail. There's some debate over the origin of the term. China has seen rapid urbanization, a directive from the top of the Chinese Communist Party. And since local governments can't charge taxes, working with developers through some unscrupulous land sales was a great way to rake in huge sums of cash. Over the year, videos of nail houses have gone viral, like this brick dwelling in the center of a plaza, or this mini mansion in the middle of a road, many of which have become tourist attractions, or extra large planters. I also hate moving, but these folks took it to another level. And that brings me back to the owner of this nail house. He's a grandfather named Huang Ping, although he's been nicknamed the strongest nail house owner. Huang lives in Jinxi with his 11-year-old grandson, but they now spend a significant amount of time in the town center to avoid all the construction noise. According to Huang, he was offered almost $220,000 to relocate, and also offered 3 other alternative homes, but he rejected all these offers. So they just decided to build this massive motorway around his house. Huang has had time to reflect on his decision and is now expressing regret, fearing the constant noise the motorway will bring once it's completed. He even told reporters that if I could turn back time, I would agree to the demolition conditions they offered, and that now it feels like I lost a big bet. He's not alone either. Some of the owners of these nail houses ultimately ended up accepting compensation or alternative properties in exchange for demolition because they got tired of all the attention they were getting, or being in the middle of a road. Others held out for a long time, hoping for an even better compensation package from the authorities, which, as you can guess, didn't go so well for them. So why do these nail houses even exist? Why don't the homeowners just take the money or alternative property and leave? Do they not have any friends they can trick into helping them move with promises of pizza and beer? Well, there are a couple of reasons besides being attached to their homes like any normal person. You can see how this might have been a bit more spacious than living in one of these tiny apartments, before the road. Residents say the new, smaller houses or high-rise apartments they are being moved into are either too far from their fields, too expensive, or ill-suited for their needs as farmers. Others say that the offer they were given wasn't fair. The issue is, in China, the government owns all the land, whether in the countryside or big cities. The way the Communist Party phrases that is that the people own all the land collectively. And since the party represents the people, well, you get stuff like this. The only reason these houses don't get knocked down like they used to is that the central government has discouraged it. So local officials and developers will encourage people to move. Now, this is important because we've had a bunch of Americans go on the Chinese-controlled app TikTok, or now, even more stupidly, Red Note, get a bunch of Chinese propaganda videos and think everyone in China has the right to cheap housing. Well, keep in mind, almost 1 billion people in China live off less than $300 a month. And if you somehow manage to afford a home, this can happen to it. And now, Operation Honeypot. I told you in a special bonus China Uncensored episode about how YouTube claimed they weren't soft censoring my channel, and the reason I suddenly lost 5 million views was just because people weren't interested in my videos anymore. The reason the revenue from this last December was down 77% from a year ago was that China Uncensored, that has way more subscribers now, just isn't popular. I wasn't buying it. And you've proved YouTube wrong with Operation Honeypot. So many of you are telling me you're finally seeing China Uncensored videos again. Great work, everyone. And remember, we're in phase 2 of Operation Honeypot now, which means we're really targeting the algorithm. So there are 3 things I'm asking you to do. 1, watch China Uncensored videos all the way to the end. 2, if you see one of my videos get recommended, please click on it. And 3, keep liking my videos and leaving honeypot comments. And if you can, with December's year-to-year YouTube revenue down 77%, we're in some dire financial straits. So click here to subscribe to my new premium website. Thank you, my 50-cent army. You're the reason the show can continue. Now, keep the honeypots flowing.